What up, what up, what up? Ladies and gents, boys and girls, you are now tuned in to a brand new episode of Sportsway with Dray podcast. I'm your host with the most, the Hood's ESPN, Crystal Street's very own, Dray. What's up, what's up, what's up? Once again, thank y'all all for y'all continued support as I bring y'all these videos or episodes, content for you. Appreciate it. Just keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. In the meantime, in between time, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel, Sportswear with Dray podcast. Hit that notification bell as well. So once a video is dropped on YouTube, you will get a notification letting you know that your boy dropped. Y'all see the title of this. And as you can see, I'm fully equipped with the gear on. So that can only mean one thing. Obviously, I'm going to be speaking about the WNBA, but now it is time. All 40 regular season games have been complete. The Olympic break took place. Post and pre-Olympic break, all 40 games have been done. It is now time for the big one. It is time for the postseason. The WNBA Playoffs starts tomorrow. Well, today. It starts today, okay? 9/22, September 22nd, the WNBA 2024 postseason begins, and it's time. It is serious time. But before I get into that, I definitely want to shout out A'ja Wilson. She basically broke the record for scoring points in the season and rebounds in the season. Angel Reese probably could have did it had she not got hurt, but since she got hurt, that gave the nod to A'ja Wilson to now hold the record for most rebounds in a WNBA season. So not only does she hold the record for points in the season, she now holds the record for rebounds in the season. So congratulations to her on that. Listen, I think it's safe to say that A'ja Wilson will be the MVP, and there should be no debate in that. Now, she should get it unanimous. I'm not even going to hold you. She should definitely get the MVP unanimously. The race would have been a whole lot interesting had Napheesa Collier not got hurt. But to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. Before the during the start of the season, as the season was going on, and Minnesota was having the run that they were having, and the Vegas Aces weren't having the run that they had in prior years, I had Napheesa Collier as my MVP. After the season that A'ja Wilson has had, even if Napheesa Collier wouldn't have got hurt, with A'ja Wilson having the record for points and rebounds in a season, I think I probably would have had to give A'ja Wilson the MVP nod regardless. But, yeah, there you have it. And then you add the New York Liberty. They are the only team this season to garner up 30 wins in a season. They're the only team. Oh, no, not even. The Minnesota Lynx, they got 30 wins. Pardon self. They were 30-10. The New York Liberty was 32-8. So we have two teams that had 30 wins or over 30 wins. But listen, I'm very much proud of the WNBA this regular season. A lot of records were broke. A lot of records. Whether it was from Caitlin Clark, whether it was from Angel Reese, whether it's from A'ja Wilson, attendance record, the whole 9 yards. This was by far one of the best seasons that I can think of in the history of the WNBA. And if I say it, take my opinion serious, because I've been watching the WNBA since its existence in 97. I know a lot of y'all are now new to the party because of a certain player that plays for Indiana. Not me. I've been a fan before she even joined the league. Hell, I've been a fan of hers before she was. I was a fan of the league before she was even born. But that's neither here nor there. But I love Caitlin Clark. But a lot of y'all are just fans now because she jumped on the wave. I've been a fan. So take my opinion very serious as it pertains to that. But like I said, we are now in playoff mode. And the top 8 teams, it's the NBA format, but it's kind of like the NBA format, but it's only one conference. They put all 8 teams together. It's not like, you got 4 teams in the East and 4 teams in the West, and they duke it out for East versus West in the NBA Finals and the WNBA Finals. That's not going to happen with this. It's 8 teams. 8 teams in one bracket. Okay? So we may mess around and get 2 Eastern Conference teams in the finals. We might mess around and get 2 Western Conference teams in the WNBA Finals. It's all about what happens. It's all about what happens. And I am very much excited for this. And listen, I'm going to give my prediction. Okay? I'm going to give my prediction for each series. I'm going to break it down from the first round, then give my prediction for the semifinals, and then give my prediction for the big one, which is the WNBA Finals, okay? The format is simple. The first round is a best of 3, and then the semifinals and the WNBA Finals is a best of 5, all right? So you got one series that's a best of 3, and then you have the semifinals and the WNBA Finals a best of 5. So the first series I'm going to indulge in is the 1 and 8 seed, which is the New York Liberty and the Atlanta Dream. Now, it's crazy that how a team that was 10 games below 500 made the playoffs. But that just tells you how abysmal that last seed was, because you had Chicago fighting for it, you had Washington fighting for it, you had Atlanta fighting for it, you had a time when even Dallas was fighting for it, but then they just plummeted. So you had basically 3 or 4 teams fighting for that last seed that was going to have a crazy losing record but still get rewarded for the playoffs. It is no secret that I am a New Yorker. Brooklyn representative for that matter. Call me a homer, but I have the New York Liberty winning this series straight. I think they sweep both games at home. But I will say this, Atlanta will not be an easy defeat. They are not going to come into Brooklyn and just hand them the series, because Atlanta is playing with house money. They're playing with house money. Nobody expects them to win this series. So I can definitely see that team really, really, really making it interesting, especially game 1. I can definitely see them making it very interesting in game 1. And I gave all these congrats earlier in the video. Congratulations to Tina Charles, because she is now the all-time leader in the history of the WNBA in rebounding. The all-time leader. She broke Sylvia Fowles' record. So now Tina Charles is the all-time leader in rebounds in the history of the WNBA. She has had herself an amazing career. She is definitely going to be a future Hall of Famer in the Basketball Hall of Fame once she calls it a career. But like I said, I do not think that Atlanta is just going to roll over and die. You got Tina Charles. You got Alicia Gray. You got Jordan Canada. You got Ryan Howard. They are going to make this series interesting. They are going to make the Liberty bleed somehow in this series. I do think they will win both games. I do believe they'll sweep game 1 and game 2. But I don't think that is going to be easy. I don't think the Liberty are going to beat shit down their legs. I think both games will be interesting, but then I especially believe, when we get to that third quarter, going to the fourth, I think the Liberty crank it up and then finish them off. So I got the Liberty winning this series in 2 games. They sweep home court, basically. The top seeds got game 1 and game 2, and then the lowest seed just has that 1 game for game 3, which is crazy because, usually in that do or die game, the team that has the top seed has home court advantage. And this is different because it's only a best of 3. So the away team, if you think about it, the road team, which would be the top seed team, who knows? Maybe they'll have that advantage, but who knows? But yes, I have the Liberty winning this series in 2 games. Next, we got the 2 seed and the 7 seed. And that would be the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury. Now, I just said Minnesota has been on a run this year. And quiet is kept. If Nafisa Collier had not been hurt, who knows? Maybe they might have been the number 1 seed. Who knows? They might have been. Remember, they beat the Liberty in the Commissioner Cup, so they definitely would have had that advantage. Had their records been tied, they might have broke the tiebreaker just off of, with them beating the Liberty in the Commissioner Cup. Minnesota is not playing any games. They are an oiled well machine. I would say for about the past 2-3 years, they've kind of been on this rebuild phase. Even with Nafisa Collier. But again, even this year, she had a career year. And now you add Smith to the equation. You already know Kayla McBride going to do her thing. You know Courtney Williams going to do her thing. My only hiccup, and Carlton, who can drain them threes. My only issue with the Minnesota Lynx is this. And believe me, I understand they got enough firepower. But Paley got to get some time, yo. She got to get some time on that basketball court. I honestly get that Minnesota has all this power. But they got to find a way to get Elisa Paley some time, man. That's my only hiccup. There's another player that I feel that way about that I'm going to get to later. But as it pertains to this series with the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury, I know Diana Taurasi might have played her final regular season game over a few days ago. It was a nice little send-off, you can say. I mean, listen, the way that they presented it, it made it look like that this is going to be her last season. I know the fans, was trying to chant that whole 1 more year thing like they did Sue Bird last season, but I honestly believe this is her last season. Honestly, there's nothing left to prove, DT. It is time to just ride into the sunset, watch your 2 sons grow up, and I believe she has 2 sons. I'm not sure. I know she has one who kept jumping on her back when she was making her speech. I'm not sure if they have a son or a daughter, but either or, it's time to ride to the sunset. There's nothing left for you to prove. There's plenty of people out there that deem you as the GOAT. I don't deem you as the GOAT, but you are definitely in that conversation for sure. I take nothing away from you. One of the greatest to ever play the game. Definitely top 5. Definitely top 5. Top 7, respectfully. It was good to see Brittany Griner back after what she went through. Kalia Copper has played amazing this year. On paper, it should be a very interesting series. But I got to go with Minnesota. I believe the Minnesota Lynx will win this series. Just the same thing with the Liberty. I think that they will sweep both home games. I believe they will sweep both home games. They will win game 1 and game 2. I believe Phoenix will make it interesting. They will make this series interesting. They are a veteran team with a lot of pride. And again, like I just said, this might be Diana Taurasi's last year. So they are going to do everything in their power to make this series very interesting and try to pull the upset, even though I don't think they will. But again, they are going to do everything they can to make this series interesting. But overall, I got the Minnesota Lynx sweeping both games, Game 1 and Game 2, to advance to the semifinals. Now, we get to the 3rd seed and the 6th seed. The Connecticut Sun and the Indiana Fever. Now, it's fitting that these two teams play each other in the playoffs, because these were the two teams that opened up the regular season. We all remember that first game. Carrington was putting the clamps on Caitlin Clark in her first game in the WNBA. And from that moment on, you had people, oh, she exposed. Oh, it's going to be difficult. Oh, it's going to be this. Oh, it's going to be that. We fast forward to the Olympic break. And Caitlin Clark been on a killing spree ever since. Now, granted, I am not one of these fans that is going to sit here and give her an A for her rookie campaign. I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to be objective here, if I had to put a grade on her rookie season, even though I believe she's going to win Rookie of the Year, I give her a B-. I give her a B-. Because the turnovers, she's going to have to shape that up next season. Her turnovers this year was just abysmal. So she's going to have to shape that up tremendously. I would hope that the whining and the crying stops next season. Hopefully, that changes up as well. But listen, Indiana, they could, listen, I'm not going to give my pick yet, but I just want to make my case for them. They can pull an upset. If it's any team in this that I believe that can pull an upset in the first round, it's them. It's them. It's truly them. Now, do I think they will do it? That's another story, because, Connecticut, I've said this for about a good, I want to say 3 years now. When is they going to win their first championship? They have been one of these teams. One year they made the WNBA Finals, lost to the Aces. I think the year prior, they lost to Chicago, because my girl Candace Parker, she won the championship that year in Chicago. So they lose in the semifinals to the Sky. The next year they make the finals, lose to the Aces, lose last year in the semifinals to the Liberty. Is this going to be the year where they break the hump and finally win the championship? Because that is the one thing that has eluded this franchise for all these years. After a while, that window starts to close. If they don't win it this year, who knows? And then you got to factor this in. They added Marina Mabrey, which was an amazing pickup, by the way. They got themselves a spot-up shooter who can drain them threes like a mug. Obviously, we know what Alyssa Thomas's pedigree is. We know what DeWanna Bonner's pedigree is. We know what Brianna Jones' pedigree is. I think my only issue with the Connecticut Sun, my only issue with them, their bench. Now, I get it. Mabrey is on their bench. But they're going to need more than that. Because obviously, Carrington is out there for defense. She's out there for defensive purposes. Okay? Then you got Alyssa Thomas. Then you got DeWanna Bonner. I just mentioned Brianna Jones. This series is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. And then with Indiana, obviously you got Caitlin Clark, you got Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. I think the player that is going to need to step up in this series is Naisa Smith. She's gonna have to step up in this series. Now I know she's had a average, not so productive regular season, right? She can right that wrong in this regular season. She's got to step up tremendously because she's very inconsistent. And then it doesn't, and it really doesn't help that you're going up against your boo in the first round, which is Carrington. So we all seen Love and Basketball. Well, guess what? She better take this series seriously, or Indiana's going to go home, and they're going to go home quick, fast, in a hurry. So with that being said, just off of experience, I am going to give the nod to the Connecticut Sun. I believe they can win this series in 2 games. I think they can defend home court and win both games. I think they can. Now let's get to the series that I'm really excited about. I honestly believe that this series has the opportunity to go all 3 games. This series I'm about to speak about, and that would be the reigning defending champion Las Vegas Aces against the Seattle Storm. I honestly believe that this series has the potential to go all 3 games. All 3 games. I honestly believe that. Now, Asia Wilson has had a phenomenal season. I just said MVP worthy, probably unanimous. None of that shit means anything if she does not win this WNBA championship. The Aces are going for a 3-peat. You know how that will look if Asia Wilson had this historic year and they somehow lose in the first round? That would not look good. That will not look good at all. And listen, Seattle has the firepower to do it. This is not, they're not going up against a team that I'm saying that they can just dog walk against. No. Nneka Onwumike, Skylar Diggins, Joel Lloyd. Remember, they picked up Gabby Williams after the Olympics. Wonderful two-way player that can score and defend on the perimeter. Seattle is going to be a problem for the Aces. Now, this is the time that I'm not going to call them role players. I would never call Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, or Kelsey Plum role players. They are stars. I will never call them role players. But towards the latter end of this regular season, they were struggling. They're going to have to step up in this series against Seattle, or they're going to find themselves dethroned. With that being said, I love the fact that Nika Mule got some playing time in the last game of the regular season. She scored her first basket, played amazing defense, had a couple of rebounds, had a couple of steals. This right here tells you why she should have been able to play in the regular season, but I get it. Too much star power. In the position she plays guard, so she's playing behind Skylar, and she's playing behind another point guard, so it was very difficult for her to get some playing time. Will she get some playing time in these playoffs? I highly doubt it. But with that being said, man, this is going to be one hell of a series. This is going to be one hell of a series. I believe the Aces win this in 3. I honestly believe that Seattle will split game 1 and 2. And then the Aces will close it out in game 3 in Seattle. So I think this is the only series in the first round that will go all 3 games. Now, I could be wrong. We got 4 series. I honestly think that 2 of them is going to go the distance. If I had to pick a series that I think is going to go the distance, I would have to say the Aces and the Storm, and I would say Indiana and Connecticut. I would say those 2 series has the potential to go the distance in 3 games. So, with that being said, my first round, I got the Liberty over the Dream. I got the Lynx over the Mercury. I got Connecticut over Indiana. And then I have the Aces over the Storm. Now let's get to the semifinals. Now this part is gonna hurt me because this was supposed to be my WNBA Finals prediction. I was hoping for a rematch. Unfortunately, the Aces were the 4th seed, and you know how this goes playoff-wise. The winner of the 1 and 8 seed matchup plays the winner out of 4 and 5. And since I have the Liberty winning their matchup and I have the Aces winning theirs, they have to meet, unfortunately, in the semifinals, the round before the WNBA Finals. And I'm not too thrilled about that because this was supposed to be my rematch with the finals that it was last year. Granted, the Aces won in a gentleman's sweep. I believe they won it in 4 games. I actually went out to that closeout game, me and my pops, at Barclays, and just the environment there. The place was just bananas, right? I was hoping that we would get that matchup in the finals. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There's 2 teams that I think have the potential to dethrone the Aces. That would be the Liberty, and that would be Minnesota. I just believe that those 2 teams has the power to dethrone the Aces. But I gotta be honest. This is crunch time. And if it's any team out there that is battle tested and knows what it takes to get down to the nitty gritty, it's the Aces. It is the Aces. So, with that being said, and listen, Asia Wilson is my favorite player. So that's why this is hard for me, because Asia Wilson is my favorite player, but I'm also a native New Yorker. And I will love nothing more for the Aces, not the Aces, I will love nothing more for the New York Liberty to have a championship parade in this city. Because we're not going to get it from the Knicks. We damn sure ain't going to get it from the Nets. Do I trust my Yankees to get us a parade this year? I don't know. We definitely ain't going to get it in football. Unless Mahomes get hurt and the Jets can pull some shit this year, because we damn sure ain't going to get it from the Giants. Can the Liberty pull this off? I honestly don't know. So, what I can't do is go with my emotion. I have to put my knowledge, I have to put my media hat on. I say the Aces win this series in 5 games. I think the Aces and the Liberty have them a classic series, and I believe it goes all 5 games. And with that being said, that means the Aces has to come back to Barclays and end the Liberty season. Believe me, I do not take no joy in saying this. I don't. I really hope I'm wrong. But again, I can't, be emotional with this pick. I have to give my honest assessment. I just believe that even though the Liberty have the better bench, because they do have the better bench, and now that Lainey Hamilton is back, obviously you got Stewie, you got Sabrina, Lainey Hamilton is back, Courtney Vandersloot, she's no slouch, she's not no chopped liver. You still got Kate. You still got Kayla Thornton on the bench. Listen, damn. My issue with the Aces is this: who's going to step up as far as the role players? Because again, Asia Wilson, we know she gonna do her. Jackie Young, gonna do her. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, to some degree, she's gonna do her. Which one of these role players? And Alicia Clark. I love me some Alicia Clark. So besides those players, who else on that Aces team is going to step up? Which role player is going to step up to help those names that I just mentioned, to help those players I just mentioned? Now, obviously, Asia can get 30 a game. That's light. She can do that in her sleep. But she shouldn't need to. She shouldn't have to. It's more like it. But with that being said, yes, I believe the Aces will win this series in 5 games. I say they win it in 5. They beat the Liberty in 5 games. And then next we have the Minnesota Lynx and the Connecticut Sun. I have Minnesota winning this series. I believe Minnesota could win this in 4 games. Which means, once again, Connecticut gets close, but no cigar. So, there's my prediction. Is it time? Will it be time to break this team up? Because they didn't have too many opportunities. Only time will tell. So now we get to the finals. The Aces and the Lynx. Now, me personally, I would actually love this finals. Because you would have the 2 top candidates for MVP going at it. Obviously, Asia's number 1. We all believe she is going to win MVP. Nafisa Kalia was number 2. She's definitely going to be runner-up when those votes come in. She's definitely going to be runner-up. The Lynx have owned the Aces this regular season. But, again, for me, technically, yes, they have owned them in the regular season. But all of us that are sports fans, how many times have we seen a team just own a team in the regular season and then come playoff time, it's the other way around? So I believe that the Aces, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've lost every game in this regular season against the Minnesota Lynx. I honestly believe that. Now, do I think that will happen in the finals? No, I do not. No, I do not. Just because of what's on the line. History is on the line. Besides the Houston Comets, who won those first 4 championships, which was 97, 98, 99, and 2000. They are the only team to ever three-peat. No other team has ever done it. The Sparks could have done it when they won back-to-back in 01 and 02. Nobody has ever come close. Not even the Minnesota Lynx. I think this year history gets made. I believe with the year that A'ja Wilson has had, I think it's only right. Like when you think of these greats that had great seasons, they win MVP, they win Defensive Player of the Year. Because I think she's going to win Defensive Player of the Year too. So for her to cap off all these awards, it's only right that she gets a championship with it. It's only right. Because I think if she doesn't, that's a letdown in my eyes. And I'm quite sure she would feel that way too. None of this shit means anything unless you're carrying that trophy at the end of the season. So with that being said, I have the Las Vegas Aces winning the three-peat. I have the Las Vegas Aces defeating the Minnesota Lynx. I would say they would beat them in 4 games. I say it's a gentleman's sweep. But this is the kicker. I think Minnesota steals one the first. Oh, no, not even. No. Minnesota is the 2 seed. Minnesota is the 2 seed. I forgot about that. I think the Aces split those two. I think the Aces split those 2 games. And then they come home. And for the first time, they close out a series at home. Because listen, the last 2 years that they've won their championships, they've had to win them on the road. And it just so happened, I think all those games was in 4. They beat the Connecticut Sun in their building. They beat the Liberty in Barclays. Remember, I was there. I was there live and direct with my pops. I think this will be the year where they can finally close out the series and have the confetti fall on their heads in their building. So that's what I believe is going to happen. I believe that the Las Vegas Aces will beat the Minnesota Lynx in 4 games to win their 3rd straight WNBA championship. So there you have it. Those are my predictions. I broke it down for you. I've been on this for almost 40 minutes. I've never done an episode this long. But listen, there was 2 videos I wanted to do last week. But I figured let me hold off on it. I'll institute what I want to speak about in this episode with this. And I did that already. I was going to have a little something about the Liberty being the first team with 30 wins. I shelved that. Just threw a little something on here. Talk about A'ja Wilson's historic year. I was going to give her own little episode. Rightfully so, rightfully deserving. But I said, let me hold off and let me just put everything on here. So there you have it. Again, that is my prediction for this WNBA postseason. At the end of it, the same champ for the past 2 years will be the champ again for a 3rd season in a row, and that will be the Las Vegas Aces. So with that being said, it is a wrap for this episode. Once again, the WNBA playoffs starts today. And the first game, I want to make sure I get this right. The first game starts at 1 p.m. That will be the New York Liberty against the Atlanta Dream. Then at 3 o'clock, you have the Indiana Sun against... No, the Connecticut Sun. I said Indiana Sun. The Connecticut Sun against the Indiana Fever. That's on ABC. ESPN is going to do the Liberty Dream game. Then you have the Lynx and the Mercury. That's the ESPN game. And then at night, you got the Aces and the Storm. 10 o'clock on ESPN. So, 3 ESPN games, 1 ABC game. All 4 series start tomorrow. Well, today. All 4 series starts today. So may the best team win. Give it up for the ladies. I think we are going to embark on one of the greatest WNBA postseasons in history. I already said we had an amazing regular season, so I can only imagine what's going to happen for the regular season. So with that, for the postseason. So with that being said, once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. I am close to 300. Are you not entertained? I am almost at 300. So, if y'all can help me get that before my birthday, November 1st, I would gladly appreciate it. Again, hit that notification bell. So once any video of mine hits YouTube, you will get a notification. Share this episode. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all hit me up in them comments and tell me who do y'all think is going to win the 2024 WNBA Championship. Talk to your boy, all right? So in closing, y'all know how this goes. This has been another episode of Sports with Dray podcast. Once again, give it up for the ladies. May the best team win. May we have a great, great WNBA postseason. So with that being said, y'all be safe. God bless. Peace and love. Your boy is out of here. Peace.